Failure isn't bad if you learn from it. Here's the first steps to creating a website marketing machine and why lead gen companies are betting against us. This is My Online Toolbox, providing weekly quick tips and reminders in all facets of marketing with an objective to help you grow your business with more quality leads, emphasizing more quality with a hybrid of some education, a strategy, and an implementation to make it come true. We remind people to please like us on the My Online Toolbox Facebook page or subscribe to us on the My Online Toolbox YouTube channel to get alerts on our weekly posts. And what we wanted to do was remind you that last week we had a similar episode, but this was for people who already have an existing website, and we wanted them to not be naive because people judge a book by its cover, and we were giving simple ideas how to update your contracting website regardless of how busy you are, which is independent of this week's topic of failure not being bad if you learn from it, and all the mistakes that people make from their previous websites that they set up. So what we're doing is we went back. We went back actually to August 2018, and we're not looking to throw this particular contractor under the bus, but because he learned so much from repetitive mistakes, we wanted to show a real live example of somebody who made not one but two mistakes, a lot of time, a lot of money, and now is doing it correct. But we want you to see the results, and you can research even more details on your own if you want. So we went to the Internet Archive. It's called the Wayback Machine. Name of the website is elitekb-sb.com. Again, this is not to throw him under or the company under the bus. It's to leverage that they were willing to accept their mistakes, fix them by moving on in the year 2021 and 2022. So going back to 2018, of course, there was a website and it existed. It had the beautiful little logo and it had all of their little options for their home page and the about and the different services with some real nice pictures. And when you scroll down, you would see all of these different nice pictures about planning and design and their finishes and their renderings and many other things. Bottom line was many years went by, a lot of money went by, and nothing happened. So then what we were about to do was show you what happened when they redid everything in 2020, and then we realized it would be a disservice. One, this is a free presentation. Two, if you're that interested, go for yourself to the Wayback Machine to go to 2020. And what we decided to do was say, let's just go jump to 2021, the year that he decided after making too many mistakes over almost a 4 year period where it was time to wipe the slate clean, start over fresh. And now, if you go towards 2021, in October 2021, a new site was released, completely redone, and not just the cosmetics, but everything pertaining to the marketing aspects of the services, the marketing aspects of the locations he targets, and even how they present themselves with customer reviews, done perfect, of course, in writing, but even better in video. You can go to the site to see it all. It took a strong effort to make it all happen. So now what we did was say, great. At the end of 2021, we had this beautiful representation cosmetically, completely outdoing the previous 4+ years. And I don't want to talk about the actual amount, but wasted money and wasted time. But now here we are showing a live Google Analytic report from the beginning of 2022 right up until the previous Friday before this post. And here we get to show that the top number one way he's getting information or getting leads, should we say, 59% is coming through organic search, meaning people who don't know about the company, who are researching for a provider based on whatever the service may be in the target territory they're in. Almost 60% of the opportunities, new opportunities, are coming in from people who don't know about Elite Kitchen and Bath. And here, as we went deeper into this report, we find out that organic search brought in 919 leads with a bounce rate of only 44%, which is literally 4 points below excellent. Really, really good, knowing this has only been a half year of going live from 4 years of mistakes. So we have to give credit for him acknowledging that the failure simply was a learning step in his life, and the bottom line was he learned from it, and the bottom line is he did something. What did he do? Well, the first thing is it took time to realize that marketing is not a technology. So for anybody listening to this and getting this far, bottom line, just because somebody knows websites, somebody knows Facebook, Instagram, email, those are technologies. You have to ensure, similar to deciding or debating whether you have Microsoft Word is better than Google Docs or vice versa, that doesn't make you a writer. My Online Toolbox writes all the time. We're actually a featured writer in Kitchen Bath Business, which has more than 100,000 viewers every 2 months. They release a new magazine every 2 months, and nobody cares whether we're using Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or Chalk for that matter. The reason is we know how to be a writer, and the tool amplifies our writing. It's the same thing when it comes to any tool you're using to communicate to prospects or customers. If you don't understand that marketing comes before the tool, you're doing nothing other than sugarcoating the fact that you're skipping one of the best ways to grow your business 1 to 5 years out. And never lose sight that most programmers are better at websites than marketing. They may not admit it, but the reality is they jumped into saying, I'm a web guy, I'm a web developer, but they probably don't have years of experience in marketing, regardless of whether it's websites, postcards, magazines, or trade shows for that matter. But they're all under a umbrella of topics that must be fully understood in order to work. And then there are marketing folk that are actually pretty good at what they do. The problem is they're so generic that they're guided by technology and not industry specific enough to help you identify your strengths and weaknesses to be able to win the long-term objectives. And getting into long-term objectives, most contractors inadvertently think short-term, especially relating to marketing. Bottom line, if anybody here is thinking about a website and then somehow you're thinking that, hey, I'm getting started this month and I'm looking for leads in 2 to 3 months, bottom line, if you're going to get leads, more than likely they're going to be crappy leads, and there's no way marketing takes effect correctly in order to consistently bring in good leads over the quarters and years to come. And most contractors, whether you want to face it or not, they simply spend too little for a long-term investment. So what happens is, unfortunately, this is what happens to My Online Toolbox. Many of our clients come to us after making 1, 2, and 3 mistakes, and then when they hear the real cost, of course, a lot of times they're sticker shock, but the reality is it was far exceeding the cost and money that they wasted over the previous years. And the reality is there is a certain amount of education, planning, and a content accumulation to do it correct. And you could make believe someone else could do it cheaper for you, but if they haven't explained how they're doing it cheaper, more than likely you're setting yourself up for long-term failure. And most contractors then waste money monthly only to lose time in addition to the dollars. As a marketer, we actually think of time as being more important than money, but unfortunately, contractors in the beginning are guided by a fake number, and then inadvertently they start guiding themselves into lead gen services based on we're only spending 200 a month, 500 a month, 1,000 a month, not realizing even at $1,000 a month, if you spent $15,000 in long-term marketing, that $15,000 is going to pay rewards that are impossible for you to compare towards what the lead gen companies charge you for crappy leads on a monthly basis. And most important, too many contractors have a hard time letting go of the past in order to start fresh. It's unbelievable how many times people will reach out to us. We're now getting into our 2023 planning, so we get constantly all of these type of communications saying, hey, we're thinking about redoing our marketing. Check out our website. What do you think? Well, first of all, if you're doing well, why are you asking us in the first place? What do we think? Because you already know what the answer is. You're just looking to kind of cherry pick on some things that may not be working, realizing that too many things are not working, and we're not going to sit here for free analyzing pages upon pages of work that never worked in the first place and trying to guide somebody how to piecemeal it together when you should treat it like a tsunami. Wipe the slate clean, start fresh so you can do it correctly. We're going to leave you with this. Running a business is exciting, but it's a huge responsibility and constant education of learning what not to do. And how to succeed over time is simply amplifying what works and learning from being wrong. It's okay to say I've made a mistake and not simply dwell on it or try to have other people sugarcoat you or family members or friends and family that have done work for you. But the bottom line is they did it wrong. And maybe you have an emotional attachment that you can't connect to. But the sooner you realize that, no, forget the emotions. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Wipe it out because marketing is where you plan to go. And this is the challenge most face, which is why lead gen companies in this industry exist in the first place. They realize many contractors never went to college for strategic planning, and that's okay. Use that to your advantage to realize marketing is a long-term play. I'm not going to name the names, they don't deserve it, but there's too many lead gen companies that simply are preying on the industry because they realize other industries that have taken basic marketing classes who know that the bottom line is there's a certain amount of minimum investment time and money to do it correctly. You're not going to do it and wait for one, two, or three mistakes and too much time to go by. And the lead gen companies fish off that money and just simply take the monthly money, knowing that more than likely you're not going to be thinking strategically. They benefit short term, you lose long term. Treat your mistakes as water under the bridge in order to get to your future. Don't keep dwelling on it. Realize that taking an approach to setting where you want to be 1 to 5 years out, similar to Elite Kitchen and Bath, they're now moving into 2022 in an unbelievable advantage that they never had before because they're backlogged based on the number of quality leads that want to do business for them. And you could do it too by taking advantage of the knowledge that most people in the construction industry are too short sighted. It's not intentional, but it happens where they're thinking short term, so inadvertently their results are short term, and then 1 year turns into 3 years, and then they have to redo it again for more money with lost time. Remember, when it comes to online marketing, whether you have a website or not, we've been winning awards for many years. We like to show this from past years because all of the clients that we're talking about in this week's post and the previous post are benefiting from the efforts that we started in 2017, 18, and 19, and even 2020. So that's where you need to just wake up and realize that marketing is totally different than the technology is using, and it will take a little bit of time, extra money than usually anticipated, but the results far outweigh your long term goals. Failure isn't bad as long as you learn from it. Remember that. These are the first steps to helping you creating a marketing machine, including your website, including Facebook and all those other social elements. But remember to start planning yesterday for next year's marketing and profits. Have a healthy week, and we will see you next week.